Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Overflow Podcast. This week, we got new Justice League trailer. We have the beginning of the Arrowverse.
Yep.
And legacy news. And Jay's going to give us a little testimony about a retreat he went to earlier this week. So with that being said, as I like to say, welcome. What's up, Jay?
What's happening?
You know, man, things are happening, man. You know, change is happening.
Changes. I think that's from the song Changes.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the same thing, but I couldn't think of like how it went. So what's up, man? How it been? How it do? As always, how your week, man, brah?
Week's been interesting.
Week has been interesting. Anything interesting?
No, we'll get into that. The second half of the podcast.
So that's the interesting part. Everything else is Monday, Tuesday was the interesting part.
No, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
To be technical, like last week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday,
or this week.
No, last week.
How was it last week?
I'll get into that in the podcast too.
I don't know about this. Or do I know about this?
Of course you know about this.
Man, all the stuff I know, I forget so much.
That's okay.
So
that's what happens when you get old.
I'm not old. I'm 32.
Yes, you are.
Somebody told me they thought I looked like I was 33. They're like, you're 30. You're 42. I'm like, yeah. I was kind of offended a little bit. You know, it's just like, you're 42. I was like, yeah.
Why you get offended?
Cause it's like the way they said it. I thought they were gonna be like, oh my god, I thought you were older.
I told somebody I was 44. They call me a liar.
They're like, you 42? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I didn't think you were that old. I'm like, oh, well, how old did you think I was? Like 33.
That's good.
Take it. I'll take it.
It's funny, right? Because I told someone I was 44. They called me a liar. Like they got offended.
Yeah,
I would lie to them.
Yeah, I've been
and tell them
told
I'm
that too.
older. Like, and I'm like, who lies that says that they're older?
Right?
So,
I've had that happen to me too. I had somebody one time, they're like talking. It was like, well, how old are you? I'm like, well, I'm 41. Well, because at that time I was 41. I was like, I'm 41. They're like, nah, if you're 41, I'm like, yeah, I'm 41. I don't believe you. So I went, really? So I took my license out.
Yeah, I got to take my license out.
I said, what does that say? She was like, oh my God, you are 41. I'm like, oh my God, why do you say it that way? And how old did you think I was? Well, I thought you're like 32, 33. I'm like, I'll take it.
So they thought they said that
I act like I'm 17, 16. Yeah, I still laugh at fart jokes,
said that I looked like I was 35, right? I said, oh, you look 35. I thought you were 35, which is funny. They thought you were 33. I'm 35.
I was just thinking the same thing. Still 2 years apart.
Right? So the funny thing is, like they were like, wow, you thought you were like 35. I'm like, yeah. Well, that's the reason why my wife won't let me shave completely. Be clean shaven.
Yeah.
So I was like, why? Like, because then she says I look like I'm in my 20s, and she makes it feel like a cougar.
Yo, we should both like just completely shave and take a picture, post it up. So people be like, who are those guys? Because I look like I'm 10.
They were like, oh, we should put it out on Thursday for Throwback Thursday. And just let people like.
Well, you see me completely shaved, right? Yeah, you see me like yeah. Because I tend to do that once a year. I'll just.
I can't do that right now though. I can't do that right now.
Why?
I'm working on something new with my beard.
What?
I'm gonna give myself an Aquaman beard. Aquaman comic, not Aquaman movie.
Why? I mean, you've been growing that thing for like 2 years now, bro. It's not getting there.
Crazy. I shaved it. You're so stupid. I'll give myself an Aquaman.
So whenever you do shave, you take the little hairs and you put them in your patches.
And I glue them back on.
To your patches. Yo, Judy get the patches too, though. That was hilarious the other day.
Yo.
So then he shows up. I'm like, it's like, oh, you need to shave. I'm like, yo, just like his dad, he got patches.
Just like my dad.
Nah, man, we need to do that. We need to completely shave.
Dude, I'm working on my Aquaman beard.
Just regrow it.
Oh, I'm so lazy.
Doesn't take that long.
I know, but still, I want to work on my Aquaman.
That'd be hilarious. We should do it. I didn't say do it like right now.
No, we should do it.
But we need to do it.
We should
before it gets cold.
True that.
Now that it's still warm. And then we just re-go. Yo, I walked in last time I shaved completely. I walked into work and the guy at the desk goes, "Good morning, sir." I'm like, "Hey man, what's up?" He goes, "Oh crap, it's you." I didn't recognize you. I was like, "Yeah, you know, I look like I'm 10." So other than shaving aside, we had interesting weeks. Yo, this week has just been crazy. Like, you know, not to get too much into it, but man, it's just been crazy. Like the news has been out of control. You know,
for real.
Still with all the Puerto Rico stuff.
Did I send this to you?
Let's see. Oh no. So we had all the, you know, Puerto Rico is still a mess. And you know, it's crazy. And then, you know, with this whole like Harvey Weinstein, all these accusations that have come up over the last week and a half, probably, I guess.
Yeah.
But they really blew up this week. I think like earlier this week is when it really just kind of exploded.
All the
like the 800 other people, yeah, really exploded. It was crazy. It's like you're like, holy cow, you know. And what makes it worse to me about the whole Harvey Weinstein thing is all these people coming out talking about, well, yeah, everybody kind of knew.
Yeah.
And then those same people are now acting all outraged. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, I don't think you're allowed to. I don't buy it. Acting all outraged. Yet you come out with like, well, we always heard stuff. Everybody kind of knew it was unspoken secret in Hollywood. We're outraged. Oh, why come you weren't outraged like 5 years ago? Ugh, can't deal with you. Then we had Eminem coming out with his freestyle.
Are you really gonna mention that?
Yeah, I'm gonna mention it because it was hilarious. Because no, I'm not mentioning it because it was good. It was like gotta be the worst freestyle I've ever heard Eminem spit. And not just because it was political.
It had to be dramatic.
Not because it was political. It was just garbage. Like it was like
it had to be dramatic. That's
you know,
all the pausing and walking, like he's like angry,
like super angry. Yeah, it was terrible. But the thing is, even if he did that, but it was good because my problem with it, honestly, my whole problem with it was like if it's dope, it's dope, right?
Word.
But he just all he did was repeat the same insults that everybody spits out at Trump.
But he made them rhyme.
Shut up. I'm gonna turn your mic down. And then you know what I thought was hilarious was his call out to his fans. Like he's, you know, well, if you like him, then stop listening to me. Basically what he said. I think he said it in a little more vulgar way.
Yeah, he did.
And it was just like, really? And people were just like giving him props, like, oh yeah, like he was speaking truth to power. It's like, he ain't doing. If you're doing the same thing everybody's doing, you're not really doing anything different, you know. It's like that Lecrae song that where it starts off with I think Piper talking and it's like, you know, if you get tattoos, you know, you're not a rebel.
Yeah, rebel.
You know, you're not a rebel because you get tattoos. Everyone got tattoos. You don't want to be a rebel? Don't get tattoos. You know, and it's just kind of like that's kind of how I felt about that. Moving on.
Right along.
So we had that. I thought there was one more thing.
I don't know. I didn't know we were going to talk about none of this nonsense.
No, it's just kind of like a little highlight, you know, just little. I mean, it's just things that happen in the news, things that are kind of out there that we should just shake our heads at. You're like, man. Just shake your heads at them.
Point your finger.
And point your
judgmentally.
finger. Just be like, oh, I can't deal with you.
Yeah.
I just can't deal with none of
Not
y'all.
even
No
dealing.
more. And then they're still talking about the Vegas stuff, which it's crazy. Like that's all they do. All they do this week has been Vegas, Harvey.
Now they've dipped into conspiracy theory territory.
Oh man, I dipped into conspiracy theory territory the day it happened. So yeah, so we had all that, you know, all that crazy stuff happening. But then,
please come to the good parts.
But then, I think I've seen it 10 times.
Yes, finally.
So Sunday, well, I don't know. Sunday was kind of a rough day. Sunday was kind of a rough day because it started off with the Justice League trailer,
the new trailer.
And
it's the last trailer, right?
Yes, the last trailer. It was the last full-length trailer before the movie started. Oh, well, Yeah, well, it's the last trailer before. No, I'm gonna say this. This weekend, we got Jackie Chan's new movie coming out, and I just want to say, everyone go watch it because it's Jackie Chan's new movie coming out.
You don't interrupt Justice League
The
for
Foreigner.
for Jackie Chan.
You always interrupt Justice League for Jackie Chan.
Get out of here. You
The
never
Foreigner.
do
The
that.
Foreigner.
Get back
go
to
watch
the,
it.
Get back to the good stuff.
Go watch it. You get back to the good. You're done. I'm cutting you off. I just cut. He's talking. No one can hear him. I've cut him off.
Get back to the good stuff. Talk about the Justice League trailer.
So
And how amazing it is.
This Sunday, we had the Justice League trailer.
This past Sunday.
Came out at 9 in the morning.
9 in the morning.
It was 9 in the morning, 6 a.m. on the West Coast. And it was okay. It was all right.
Boy, shut up.
It
It
was
was freaking amazing.
It was all right.
I watched it. By the time I watched it for the third time,
It was all right.
that's when you finally took a breather and texted it to me.
Did I text it to you?
Yes, you did.
I don't remember. Yeah, because you didn't text it to me.
I was too busy watching.
Whatever, dude. I always text you stuff. Anyway, it was okay. It was all right. It was all right trailer.
You stupid. It was sick.
It
was their best trailer.
Best part was when it ended.
It was their best trailer, and it was it was exciting and gripping without them showing too much.
You think it was the best trailer?
It was their best
It
trailer.
was the only reason you say it was the best trailer
was
was because they had your crush, Henry
No.
Cavill, in it.
That was not my crush.
Superman.
Nope. No.
The only reason.
That's
Let's
not-
just be
that-
honest. Be honest.
The reason why it was the
be
best
honest.
is because
be
of all the
honest.
Wonder Woman, and they're showing this trailer more than the others showed that she is taking that leadership position.
You think this trailer showed that?
This one more than the others, I said. And and the Flash's geek out at the end of this trailer was freaking
good.
Was freaking awesome.
That was good when he sees the bat signal.
And I'm telling you got to look at the other the TV trailer.
I've been watching them.
That there's one where everybody's looking up. They're going up I guess a lift in a bat cave, and they're all looking up and they're all serious. And the Flash is just smiling from ear to ear, totally geeking out.
Yeah,
it's dope.
That's gonna be Jay on
the
the day it comes out.
It's gonna be the both of us.
I'm gonna be like, dude, act like you've been here.
You taking off again?
Listen, I don't know if you're taking off. I know I'm taking off. I'm actually gonna put in for it tomorrow. I meant to do it early this week, but I forgot.
Yeah,
I already told my supervisor. He knows. My new supervisor's loves Batman.
He's gonna take
Big
off.
DC, yeah.
He's gonna take off and be with us.
Yeah, and I told him, he was like, do it, man. And actually, you know what he told me? I said, oh yeah, I got to put in for the 17th. He's like, 17th, that's Justice League. He goes, that's right. He goes, denied. And I'm like, I'm using a vacation day. You can't deny me. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take it off, and then I guess as soon as tickets are made available, we'll pick them up.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna go IMAX, right?
IMAX, of course.
Mall of Georgia. We're gonna get up early, and go.
Get up early every day anyway.
And go. Well, not me if I have a day off.
Get up early every day anyway.
But this time though, we got to leave early, just so that because we got to go to the geek store, the geek box store, at the Mall of Georgia. Go look at
There's
geek
a Think
stuff.
Geek store in the Mall of
Think
Georgia?
Think Geek. That's what it is. Yeah, Think Geek.
I know
Yeah,
there was one over there too.
yeah. There's one over there. It's nice.
So why do we got to go there?
Not just because. Because if we're gonna take the day off, let's freaking enjoy the day
Just
off.
to hang out.
Yeah, man.
And then, all right. Yeah,
know.
I don't care.
go
But
get
remember,
some
like
glass of red rabbit.
like
Get there
BVS,
on
we had
time.
to separate our seats.
What do you mean? Separate our seats.
Yeah. We have to select the seats, the seating. Because remember when we went
separate our seats.
when we went to see BVS
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that dude was sitting in my seat?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I didn't know they did that. I was like, well, now you know.
Well, to be fair, that's on his wife
Yes, it is.
because she bought him the ticket and didn't tell him.
Or she probably didn't know or didn't realize or whatever.
How did she not know? It tells you pick a seat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on, man.
I don't know. He was like,
So
"What? You can pick your seats. So if you buy your tickets, you can pick your seat. Look,
Yeah.
you see the ticket? It says the seat right
yeah,
here.
that's a cool feature. Sometimes it's just a pain. But and because sometimes like the seats you want are already taken,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of like, oh man. But
AMC, you can pick your seat
so
and your concessions.
So
and they'll bring them to you.
some of the AMCs,
Some of them, yeah. The
So,
one over here,
yeah. So the moment, all right, so we got to
Cumberland Point, they do it.
So we got to do that. The moment the tickets go on sale, we got to buy them that day.
Boom.
Um,
Boom, boom, boom.
you know, and I'll buy them and you just give me the ticket money. I'll buy them and you buy me the popcorn, you know, because it's about the same amount of money.
Just
About the same amount of money.
is.
I won't be using my movie pass for that one. Actually, I will to go
Later.
see it
To go see it
later.
again.
Go see it that night at a regular theater. Yeah, so man, the new Justice League trailer, obviously I'm lying when I tell you that it was all right. It was, if by all right equals amazing, then it was all right. I'm waiting for the nerd to chop them all up and put them all like in a as linear as possible.
Right.
So-
From the first one.
Yeah, from off well, there's been 4 really released technically. So yeah, so all 4 of them. I'm super excited. I think did you think you saw some of Joss Whedon's fingerprints on this trailer?
No.
You didn't think so?
But then again,
I mean, it's hard to tell
I didn't think about it. Like, I didn't think about it. So
Yeah.
now that you mentioned that, I'll
Well,
go back.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it until others brought it up, and then when I looked at it again, I was like maybe some of the humor.
All right, you know what I thought was like the sickest thing of the trailer? How they
Batman.
showed
Batman. That's it.
the parademons being made.
Yeah.
Right? Like when Steppenwolf came and he like hit the ground, like it turned that whole area apocalyptic.
Right.
Right? And you saw the people that were there
Yeah.
like transforming into parademons. That's dope.
That was
I mean, it's
sick.
not the way they do it in the comics. But
Was it them transforming or was it them dying? Or
no,
is
they
that
were,
the same?
they were transforming.
It's the same thing, dummy.
Right? It's just about they were transforming it. That's how, and that's, you know what's dope about that is that it's not really like an invasion. Like you think of Justice League War,
Right.
right? The mother boxes open, the boom tubes, and they come in through the boom tubes.
Right.
Right? It's like it's unnecessary if you can just
Create them.
create a new apocalypse or an apocalypse-like planet, right? At the planet you
Right.
invade.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It was cool. Did you see it? Did you read about the change?
What change?
Steppenwolf's not going to be the uncle.
He's not going to be the what?
He's not going to be Darkseid's uncle. You know, in the comics, he's his uncle.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be his nephew. I think that's what they said.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't read about
So
that.
yeah, so they're just making that slight change. I don't know. I
I
mean,
wonder if they're going to bring in the new gods.
I wouldn't think so, just because it's a lot.
I'm not saying in this movie. I'm like,
That's a lot.
eventually.
That's a lot of stuff to bring into.
All right, so thinking about seeing that trailer, right? Seeing the trailer and what we discussed last week. I'm not sure if we discussed it during the podcast, but about how DC and Warner Brothers are gonna handle the extended universe,
right?
How it's not gonna be like a linear thing,
Right, like
Marvel
Marvel.
does, but actually everybody doing their own thing. But
Right.
they
It'll be more like comic book,
like the comics,
like the comic books. Yeah.
right? Thinking of that, I mean, seeing that trailer now and the parademons and all that stuff, it'll be like almost like the Marvel, the Netflix universe,
Yes.
right? That's how they do the Marvel Netflix. That they're all in Chelsea. I mean, Hell's Kitchen,
Hell's Kitchen. Yeah.
right? And they reference the event the way they say it,
Right.
right? And they know about it. Well, now they all met, but like
Right.
they know about each other. I think it's gonna be.
If they do it that way, yeah. Where
it's
they
gonna be a great
where they
thing.
just throw little references here and there. Even though Wonder Woman's been confirmed for the Flashpoint movie.
Has she?
Yeah. So
Well, she
so if she's gonna be confirmed,
Wonder Woman and
Aquaman should both be. But who knows how they're gonna actually
and Batman.
how they're gonna do it. Which I think what they should do, they should make I know it's kind of early, but I think it would just throw it would just be like a bold move, but to take Flashpoint and then use that as the reboot to a whole new direction for the universe. And then you make Superman a little more a lighter Superman. You and then you can young up Batman.
Get rid of Affleck. That might be what they're planning on doing anyway. If you pay attention to the rumor mill about
but
them getting rid of Affleck.
Well, they've been getting rid of Affleck since
but this last one made sense.
Which one?
This last one, the one I told you about, where they want to get rid of Affleck to bring in younger Batman because they regret the fact that they made him so much older than everybody else.
I didn't see that.
I'll look for it and I'll send it to you. I think it was on comicbook.com.
Well, but see, no, that's a mistake. What you do is
what is it? Matt Reeves, that's his name?
Yeah. He's using Batman. He's still using Affleck. They're not replacing him for that.
No, but the rumor is that in his story, like somewhere in his story in the trilogy or whatever, that something's gonna happen where Affleck will be gone and then like a newer.
That's a
Batman.
rumor. We're not gonna hold because that's stupid. You're not gonna do a trilogy and get rid of the guy in the middle of the trilogy.
They can do whatever the hell they want.
No, you're not. and add somebody a different Batman. No one's gonna buy that. Like
they can do whatever.
No,
they want.
Yeah, but no one's gonna buy that. What you do is you don't do a trilogy. You do Batman, Flashpoint,
and then Batman. All right, you're the internet guy. Did you hear
I'm not the internet
anything
guy.
about?
I'm not Al Gore.
Yeah, you're the. I didn't say you're the creator. Anything about any extra scenes or whatever?
As far as I know, no extra scenes. They're not gonna fall into that Marvel trap.
If they do that, then yes, finally we see Joss Whedon's fingerprint.
Right. Well, I mean, he did a bunch of reshoots, so we'll see. I don't know.
But we'll see what they are.
I think. I mean,
and then even if we
honestly,
them, right?
honestly, it could you like. Oh no, they brought Joss Whedon in to help punch it up a little bit. Like that's like, oh my gosh, that's like not the worst thing in the world.
No, not at all. The last thing that I read though was that a lot of those reshoots had to do with Henry Cavill's mustache.
No, what happened is that his mustache caused problems for some of the reshoots because
he couldn't shave
it for Mission Impossible
because of Mission Impossible 6.
So they're gonna spend like $25 million, I think is what it was, to
digitally
remove his mustache. I say just leave the mustache.
So crazy.
Superman comes back and he's got a mustache. That makes perfect sense. Instead of the mullet, just have the little little mustache.
He's got the porn stash.
Hi, I'm Superman.
When he shows up, he's like, Superman's back.
Superman. like throw like this 70s black exploitation film soundtrack.
Superman.
He's bad. He's a bad. Hush your mouth. I'm only talking about Superman.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
man.
Yeah.
It was more. What else was there?
No, wait. No, anyway, so the reshoots, that was the biggest problem with the reshoots. It was just the fact that Superman had the mustache. But you're right. The trailer did everything it needed to do heading into the movie. And it didn't make the same mistake that they made with the BVS trailers, especially the last one where they showed Doomsday, where they kind of gave away the third act. Here, Superman's coming back, but you're showing him in a flashback scene, which kind of is like, yes, he's still here, but it still sets it up to where you don't know how he's coming back, when he's coming back, how long he's going to be in the movie.
Right? What if he's back, quote unquote, but it's all like, dream sequence.
Right.
Right? Like they showed in the trailer. Oh, he's in the movie, but like, not really.
Somebody said, what if the way you do it is Steppenwolf shows up, snatches Superman out the casket, sends him to Apocalypse, gets reanimated in Apocalypse, and then he comes back. That's how he comes back. It's just kind of like the bad guy, like just the brainwashed bad guy Superman. And that's part of who the heroes have to fight. Turn him around to then fight. You see how big Steppenwolf was? Like when he in that scene with Wonder Woman?
Yes.
It was like, holy cow, that's a big old dude.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's.
I mean, it was dope. It was dope, but it was just like it was cool seeing it in context to like a person, like how big, you know, because when he first showed up, you don't really see him, but then now you see how big he is, and then he's fighting Aquaman, and he fights, you know, Wonder Woman.
This just in: the Cubs win 9-8.
So the Cubs are going again to the NLCS against, who are they playing? Who cares? They're gonna win.
Who are they playing?
I'm trying to think. I just had the Dodgers. I think that's who they're playing. I think it's the Dodgers. The Dyers. I think it's the Dyers.
Sure.
So we have that. We have the Cubs winning. But my dad will be happy.
Dude, again, what if it's a Cubs Yanks World Series? That would be so awesome.
That would be cool.
That would be freaking historical.
Hysterical?
Historical.
You know what else would be a cool matchup? I mean, you know, even like a Dodgers Yankees because of that history too.
Yeah. Personally, I would rather watch.
Yeah, I want to see the Cubs beat the Yankees
Cubs.
so that I can go to New York and I'll just be decked out head to toe in Cubs gear. I'll be like, you take your life in your hands, or your dog. All right, I am. And I'll be like, where can I get a deep dish?
I'll send you the Unos.
I'll be walking around eating a deep dish wearing a Cubs in New York.
Well, that's another thing, right? Now, I mean, it's dope, right? Because like both our favorite teams made it through. And the funny thing is that both our favorite teams made it through as the underdog.
The last minute.
Right? As the underdog. So,
well, I mean, the Cubs were underdogs last year. We're used to being we've always been the underdogs. But all right, so we got that Justice League trailer. Awesome.
Yankees made it through. Cubs made it through.
Yankees made it through. Who cares? Cubs made it through. Awesome.
Who cares?
Arrowverse.
All right.
Well, real quick. So me and Jay, we watched Gotham. If you're not up on Gotham, y'all need to catch up, fools.
You need to catch up. Get up
because
on Gotham.
It has been pretty gosh darn good.
Yeah, it's been freaking great.
It's been pretty gosh darn good. And I really like what they're doing with the this whole like thing of watching Bruce Wayne become Batman and seeing him dealing with the consequences, because that's today's episode. Really, you know, he did the right thing, but somebody got hurt.
But someone, yeah,
and that you know that tore him up. So how is that going to play into the continued development
of
Batman? So I think that's what's, you know.
And let's just say it. Let's just say it. Or let's just say it. Gotham's race is 100 times better than Arrow's race.
Right. Well, because they did him. Well, you know what? It makes sense though. It makes sense that Gotham's is much better than Arrow's.
Because it's the original.
because it's you know, it's tied much closer to the source. They needed you know, he wasn't a bad villain. It was just, yeah, he wasn't the comic book race, which kind of worked, because if he was too much like the comic book race, then it's not, you know, then it really becomes like Arrow's just trying to be Batman, where now he toes the line a little bit, you know, he kind of dips his toes every once in a while, but it's not, you know.
Well, I read today that the creators of Green Arrow created Green Arrow inspired by Batman anyway.
Okay.
So, hey, Arrow is too much like Batman. Take it from Batman's story. Yes. That's the way it was always meant to be.
Right. Nice. He was just right. Wasn't as dark.
Right? Yeah. He was more of a wise guy, but still, you know, it's like, well, okay.
You know, so I think that works. So if you look at it, with like kind of in those eyes, it makes sense that Arrow's race is how Arrow's race was. You know, had the elements of it, but he couldn't really be.
He had like 4 races in one season of Arrow. Anyway,
at least they kept that going. Anyway,
Arrowverse
began
again this week. Did you watch Arrow?
I have not watched Arrow.
Okay, good. That makes two of us.
But I saw Flash.
As did I.
I didn't watch Supergirl because I'm so behind in it. I'm just like whatever.
I did not watch Supergirl.
Watched Flash.
I watched Flash and I watched Legends.
I enjoyed them both. My only beef with Flash.
Our beef.
Okay, our beef.
The
The two biggest beefs with Flash. This is honestly these were my two biggest beefs. I thought they brought him too early. I thought they would bring Flash back like second, third, or fourth episode. Remember?
Okay, when you mean back from the Speed Force?
Back from the Speed Force.
Okay.
Right. I thought that they should have. It would have been nice to have seen like at least two episodes of Kid Flash
And Vibe. Getting their butts kicked.
You know, kind of being those superheroes, right? Maybe even growing in their abilities, right? Growing into their superhero personas. And then I didn't like how they brought Iris in. It was just too dark for her character, I thought.
I mean, you get it, right? We get it. She was mourning.
Right.
She was upset. Her feelings were hurt.
But she was like real bitter. And that's
real bitter.
And that's what I didn't like.
And the worst part is that, she's in mourning because like the man of, I'm going to say her dreams, but no.
The love of her life.
Right, the love of her life was gone, and she wasn't sure if he was dead or not or whatever. But when somebody tells you, hey, lady, I can bring him back, right? How are you going to be like, no, stop it. Don't even try it. He's gone, all right? He's gone. He's never coming back. I was like, no, but I can bring him back. No, don't you dare.
And that's
what the hell, man?
And that's how you know she was bitter. It wasn't that she was hurt. It was she was bitter. I was like, come on. Yeah. And I wish Cisco snapped at her finally, but I wish he had kind of come at her a little harder. That was the only thing, right? I'm like, really, you need to really
come out.
You really read.
Come on, man. Some Ricky Ricardo.
Reach into the Latino-ness, man, and just.
Mira tú. Hazme favorita, me calla la boca.
Jeez, man. The old school slap her around or something. Anyway.
You're so stupid.
That's so bad. We don't advocate any kind of violence.
Well.
Unless.
We don't advocate any kind of domestic violence.
No domestic violence.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm with you. Except for the fact that I was okay with them bringing him out of the Speed Force in this episode. Because I liked the direction they went with this whole beautiful mind thing of him just like
his brain
like being cracked, right? What I didn't like was that they restored him out of the Speed Force, solved the mystery, and he was restored. And then the way he was restored was like garbage. It was whack. It was garbage. But I didn't like that they brought him back and restored him fully in one episode. Right? They should have had it at least 2 episodes.
At least one more episode. So restore him next week.
Right.
Yeah. Even though like
and in a better fashion.
But it kind of makes sense that Iris would need to be in trouble for him to come back. But
when Joe was like, you need to go back to church, right? You lost faith. You need faith, and then she just comes back. Take me, because he'll save me. What makes you so sure? I believe
I could fly.
Come on,
and she flew.
She flew.
Yeah, whatever. Like,
all right, but
whatever.
what did you think of?
But when he came back, that whole scene of him chasing the Samuroid and that was
dope.
So ill.
That was dope. And when he like scooped up Iris and jumped off of the Samuroid and pushed him away.
Yeah.
But all right, fast forward. What did you think of the appearance of the Thinker?
So I don't know too much about this guy. So I had to do a little reading on it.
He doesn't look that good in the comics.
He looks better in the TV show?
Yeah.
But I think I think that the Thinker, I'm glad it's not a speedster. Number one. and it looks like it's gonna, and the Thinker's a more cerebral, right? So he's one of those like more cerebral villains. So he's not gonna be a guy that's gonna like try to fight the Flash toe to toe. He's gonna almost like what Prometheus did to Arrow last season, not on the fighting side, but just on the manipulation, on the being 3 steps ahead. So I think that'll be fun to see. To see these guys like fighting these villains, but ultimately those aren't the villains. The villain is the guy that's directing all those guys. Who's going to be pushing all that against them. So, yeah, that looks whack. Jay just showed me a picture of the comic book Thinker, and yeah, it looks whack. I mean, that's what I think. I think it'll be interesting because it's going to definitely be a different kind of villain. Than all the other villains.
Another version of him.
Than all the other villains he's seen. What about you?
I love the way he looks. Right? I love the way he looks. It's almost like they put him in a Mobius chair. You have no idea what that is. But I love the way he looks. Like, he looks sinister.
Right.
Right? It was awesome. It was awesome.
He looks like a sinister minister.
He's so stupid.
All right, what else? That
right.
it?
There he is.
Yeah, like
I love the way he looks, and I love the fact that it's love hate how everything was established in the first episode.
Right.
He came back, restored, boom. Already introduced us to the bad guy.
Yeah.
At least, and they let us see him. So they're not playing any games. It's like they're gonna jump right into it. Right. So, but like this guy, he pushes himself as the fastest thinker alive or whatever. But like you, I agree with, I'm glad that it's not yet again another speedster. It's like the Flash came out, and since like the jump, all of the main villains have been speedsters.
Right.
Every season. Oh look, here we go. Another
Reverse
speedster.
Flash.
Right?
Zoom.
Another speedster.
Zapatar.
Another speedster. It's like, come on.
You guys are running out of speedsters.
Right? And then like in the comics, it was always back and forth with the rogues, right? Here the rogues showed up like once, twice.
Like they pop up, they pop in like here and there.
And don't really give him a hard time. Right? Like they're not so hard for him to defeat. Right? And now one of them's a good guy, one of them's dead. I was like, come on. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I'm still glad to see the flashback. Right, I'm still glad.
Yeah, he got the new suit. The new suit, which is dope. It's much more comic book.
Vibe's new suit también
Vibe's
is
new
more
suit
to the
is
comics.
more to the comics. So I mean, Wally's suit, and so
Wally with his permed hair,
which wasn't that bad. It didn't look that bad.
Just don't know why. But whatever.
But I think, but it kind of works though because he says, since Wally's suit has the cut up on his head, so his hair gets a little. It just looks better than just bald. That's just me. I just think it looks better. But anyway, yeah. So next week's episode, apparently Cisco did a bunch of little tricked out the suit. So it's gonna be. I think next week he's gonna be teaching Barry all the different. Did you see the trailer where he's got like goggles now? He's gonna have goggles on his
trailer at all.
So on the suit, where his eyes are. So there's gonna be like those yellow like glasses. They're not glasses, but you know how like Batman's suit, it's got the white eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna do that with the Flash. He's gonna have the yellow, where he's gonna be able to look through it, and it's gonna be like, do have all the information on there.
Well, a
little more high tech.
What I do like
looks pretty freaking cool.
Is that supposedly, he comes back. He's super fast, right? But he's
they've
also,
already established that he's faster than he's ever been.
But I hope like in the comics they show out how fast he thinks. Right, like a parsec, something like that. Like he can think like a whole bunch of things in a parsec. I learned that word reading the Flash comics.
Okay.
Right? So I'm hoping that it's almost like I forget what movie or TV show, whatever, where like he can think so fast that he can see like the different ways of handling the situation and stuff like that. And then like
what movie? That was that Nicolas Cage movie where they had that Next. Was it called Next?
Next. There you go. Yeah.
Where he would look at a situation and then he could kind of see all the different outcomes and then he'd be like, all right, come step right here. Stop. All right. Take a step forward. Okay, stop. All right, do a jumping jack. Stop.
Hopefully not as corny as that. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to like the development.
Well, they've already kind of established that it definitely looks like it's going to be closer to the, like they've said it and now we kind of see that it is. They're bringing him closer in line to the comic book Flash.
Good.
So, which not that not that he hasn't. I mean, he's probably been one of the closer comic book characters we've seen on TV. But you notice though, when he told Iris, and this is why I think from here on out it's just gonna be awesome. Because when he told Iris, he goes, it's like I'm over my past. Like that's behind me now. So we should not be seeing that emo Barry anymore. He should be making that move up. So
more funny Barry.
Yeah.
Yay.
So that'll be dope. All right, and then Legends. We saw Legends. What'd you think of Legends?
I thought Legend was whack.
You don't like Legends anyway. I liked it. My only thing with Legends again, what is it with people being so angry? Because like Rip Hunter was so mad.
No, I like Legends. I liked it. It's just the whole Rip Hunter Time Bureau and like the soldiers being mad at the Legends like for no reason or whatever. It was just like, oh, White Canary, can you just knock her out already? just knock her out.
Punch her in the face.
Right? and Rip Hunter like acting like he's not the one that put the team together.
Right.
And being a part of it. And like he wasn't the one that caused all the problems last season.
Right.
It's like, oh, come on, man.
All right, then. So anyway, we have that. No, I liked the Legends. I thought it was great. But I like it. I like the fact that they got them back together, and we'll see. Now they're gonna try to be not as reckless, which should be fun to watch. All right.
Wait, one more. But wait, there's more. What about Killer Frost?
Oh, Killer Frost on Flash. Well, I mean, it looks like Caitlin's got her under control a little bit.
Kind of, sort of, maybe.
Right? Like she let her, like she had to fight to regain control, but she seemed to have her in control. So it looks like, we'll see where that goes. But that was real interesting. Real interesting. So, you have anything else to say?
No.
Before we jump? All right, so we're going to jump into our song for the day.
Oh, wait.
What?
Remember, Elongated Man is coming.
So at some point.
That's why
we're not going to talk about. That's why we're not going to talk about.
And Machete.
But they showed that trailer. I think he's coming next week.
Is he Machete?
I think it's next week. Yeah, I think I saw him on the next week's trailer.
Machete is Gypsy's father.
So all right, so let's go ahead and get going. So we're gonna go ahead and go into this week's song. It's gonna be kind of a throwback, way back, Throwback Thursday type deal. Only reason we're bringing this group up from so long ago is because the rumor is that they're working on a new album. These guys are what I guess you would call underground hip hop. They rappity rap group called Deep Space 5. I've gotten a chance to get to know some of those guys, and they're very, very cool. And when I used to do my once a month Overflow event, which is what the podcast is kind of named after, they were the very first group that I had perform. And I think I'm one of the few people that's had, I might be the only one that had all of them at the same place performing at the same time. So that's the only good thing that came out of that Overflow event. So with that being said, here we got Deep Space 5. And the song is called From the Outside.
Knock them out. Get really done. Well, that would be cool. Because everybody was up there jamming and whatnot. Yeah, right. Because when he first walked in, I guess it was really to straighten out his whole ego to really make him play like he had. We may seem everything's all right. Looking in.
From the outside, certified golden classic. Deep Space 5, the art of bombastic. Soon as my man passed it, Fred came to smash it. Blasted until your shell becomes cracked. It's massive, passive, gross, attractive. Freddie burns through beef like lactic acid. Fantastic, wild out, feeling spastic. Let the outside reflect the inside and flash it.
Can't pass it all. We stop traffic live and on plastic driving, strong passion mind. We on past the night to dawn after. Deep Space 5, we born to form classic.
There's a war going on inside, no soul is safe, nowhere to hide. You can put your hands up. Doesn't matter how high, son. You ain't got one prayer, you can buy one.
Tojo credit and fade to black. Got a Bible in the back with a gangster rap. With a big gold plaque, yo, thanks for that. A full tank, full bank, what you think of that? It don't mean no thing in a hill of beans. At the end of the day, we was human beings. Some dirty, but I brush my teeth with chlorine. Why you think my rap is so clean?
We may seem happy, like everything's alright. From the outside looking in, everything's uptight.
Check out my crew, we so Hollywood. Love what we do cause hip hop is good. It's understood when we roll through your hood. Make it do what it do when your bro never could. I think you should hang up the plastic. Metal mesh 58 sound like elastic. Might sound better after some practice. If the crew make a butter fantastic.
I work the field with 2 hands. I'll move the dirt with my back. I'll wash it clean with the sweat. Let it grow from the ground, go help the rest. I'll move the wind with my wings. I feel the depths of the sea. I'll dig my roots in the water. Hold the ground steady for your dragons and daughters.
Roses are red and violets for certain. The inside working, speaking third person. The precursor, universal networking. The outside lurking inside my church.
Your wingtip right on my lip, I spit shine. Shoestring tight grip, polish your mind. Puff that rhyme, I wax so poetic. Syntax, a terrific pin of black aesthetic on the outside. Hoping that the ink sinks in my custom Kiwi leather by the Lincoln. See me bombing something divine, cause when I spit it on out, I make the inside shine.
So turn it up, baby. Bang out your truck, baby. Shout who you are from the moon to the stars, baby. Forget the rest, baby. Give your best, baby. Loving yourself is the wealth and the test, baby.
We may seem happy, like everything's alright. From the outside looking in, everything's uptight.
Get your hands off the glass. This ain't nothing to look at, better off the past. Know that. Never said a word, but you got that look like you concerned for that. I might say something that you ain't gon' like. Most likely so, but it's alright. It's a little too hot for us all to fight. You picked the right MC, but the wrong mic.
I'll take it back and then give it. Pour out the soda flow, but then dip it. Look at the hourglass with shape shifting. Form of the deepest space, the soul lifting.
Real flesh on the outside, spirit on the inside. Press to the image of God, come alive. We're fresh on the outside, fierce on the inside. That's the definition of deep space.
You might think me and the band are big time and kicking it all time. Definitive one grind, delivering black balls to any sellers, dwellers, and fellas that wanna get down. Rock steady, tell them to sit down. You might think that this town is big enough to fit inside a little bit of Triple Crown style and Big Brown. That we developing hits now, but every shit inside of my big mouth that gets out.
When I get to heaven, I'll ask God to send me back into my home is blind and broken. Help us get on track. Armor on the outside, golden wings spread out wide. I'll shelter all my brothers, sisters, let them come inside. Oh, come inside, come inside.
All right. That was Deep Space 5 from the outside. We'll have that video up on the website. Man, it's one of my favorites.
Deep Space 5 is such a dope. It's like individually they're all dope rappers, and then when they get together to form Deep Space 5, is like a super dope version of Voltron.
A super dope version of
Voltron.
Yeah.
Voltron's dope, right? Voltron's
Right.
dope. When the lines come together, it's dope, right? When these rappers come together to form Deep Space 5, it's like, it's just sick. They're just, yeah, it's crazy.
And they're good dudes. Like, you know, like straight up. Like,
Yeah, well, the ones that I've met.
Well, I've met. It's funny because I've met them all, and like I said, because you know I had them at when they were recording their first or second album. I think it was their first album. When they were recording their very first album, I had already known Marzil for a little while, and I went up to visit to say hi to Sivion and Fred B because I had met those guys when I was in Austin.
Right.
And so, and I met Plato also, aka Crumb. And so, you know, I went up to say hi to him, right? Because I got a chance to meet him and hang with him a little bit. And so I got to meet all the other guys, and it was just super dope. Which is when, and you know what? We might play it next week because I always love saying this. But when I was up there, I am in a Deep Space 5 song.
Deep Space 5 or a Sivion song?
It's a Deep Space 5 that was done by Beat Rabbi, his album. But it was all the Deep Space 5 guys. But Sivion mentioned me in a song.
Oh, okay.
On a Deep Space 5 by Beat Rabbi album. So we're going to play that next week because I always like to tell people, ha ha ha, Dennis, when they did their first music video, I believe, or when they did some music video, Dennis had a video camera, like close to like a professional type camera. And so he let Dust, who was the DJ, one of the DJs, who now does music videos.
DJ of Mars Ill.
He let Dust borrow the camera, and so in the linear notes of the first album, I believe it is, in the linear notes, it's like, oh, thanks to Dennis. So Dennis was like, haha, man, look at that. I'm in the linear notes, right? And so then about whatever later, I was like, haha, I'm in a song. I'm better than all of you. So, with all that noise, here's what we got today. We're gonna put pause on the Fruits of the Spirit. We're gonna pick those back up next week because we just had a lot of stuff happening that happened this week, and some last week according to Jae, which can't think of what it is.
I'll explain that.
Some good stuff. Some I'm not gonna say bad stuff. Just some changing stuff. You know, change is always a little different. It's always a little hard. So go ahead. Let's go ahead and Jay, why don't you go ahead and kick it off? Kind of start us off with what happened last week.
What we have
And bring it up.
learned applies to. Now I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to start us off with the verse, and then I'm going to remind you about last week. All right. So verses. So this was these verses that I'm about to share were shared in a devotional Tuesday. I want to say Tuesday morning at the retreat, right? So it's Acts 18 verses 9.
All right.
and
So
10.
before you do that, what was this retreat for?
It was a church planners retreat.
Okay, church planners retreat. Okay.
All right. So he was talking about Paul, and he asked everybody to like bring up, like when you think of the Apostle Paul, like what are some adjectives or what's the first thing that pops in your head when it comes to the Apostle Paul, right? So everybody was like, oh, he was strong, he was this, he was that, and I'm like, oh, he was fearless. And then he was like, oh, that's interesting, Jay, that you would use the word fearless. So check this out. And he read the verses, so I'm about to share it with you. And it says, and the Lord said to Paul one night in a vision. I love this because in the Bible, these are red letters, and it's in the book of Acts.
Okay.
Right? So the Lord said to Paul one night in a vision, do not be afraid. So he wasn't so fearless now, was he? Do not be afraid, but go on speaking and do not be silent, for I am with you, and no one will attack you to harm you, for I have many in this city who are my people. Right? And the devotional was given, and it was great. I took notes and stuff, but like with everything that has happened, right, since last week, or since Sunday or whatever, or just been happening.
Right.
Like those two verses resonated so deeply with me, right? So deeply. Don't be afraid. Go on speaking, and don't be silent. I'm with you. No one will attack you or harm you, because I got people in this city, right? I have many in this city who are my people, right? So the reminder to you, Joaquin, is that remember that last week we talked about what was going to happen Sunday.
Oh,
Right.
off the air.
Right, off air.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's before that I spoke to Magda about it. Right. And then here last Thursday, before we did the podcast, like we talked about it.
That's right.
Right. And I told you how, this is what I'm feeling. Not sure
Right.
if it's God or if it's just me.
Right.
I'm happy to say that it was God, because that was the only way that
Right. Because we were both looking at this. It was funny because we were both looking and thinking about the same thing, but we were both looking at it kind of from different perspectives, different
Right.
eyes, and how we kind of came up to the conclusion. I was just observing it through behavior, through what was or wasn't, being communicated, or how things weren't being communicated, how things were, and then you kind of had the different tack to it, and it came out to be true. We were right, because I'm always like 98% right. So yeah, so all right, so continue. So what's up?
So what had happened was
Dun, dun, dun.
this has to do with Legacy Church. Some of our leaders have decided to step down, right?
Yes.
And step away. And it's not because of any gossip, any animosity, anything, but they felt that God was leading them
in a different direction. Right.
to do something else for the kingdom, right? So when it's that, it's awesome,
Right.
right? It's a great thing
Right.
when you know and you can hear from God that that he's speaking to you and asking for you to do something, right? Rather than just, you guys suck, I don't want to be pastored by no Puerto Rican, and I'm out.
Right.
Right. I mean,
I don't want to be passive about Puerto
it doesn't make it less painful,
Correct.
right? But it's not.
But it's easier. It's like when you have to take medicine,
Buckley's.
But it's like, it's like when you have to take goodies, right? So some people will take goodies, headache powder. They're just like I do. I just put it right on my tongue, right? I put the powder on my tongue and I drink water real quick. Some people can't deal with that, but some people have to mix it in like water.
I'm that guy that can't deal with that.
Right,
I have to mix it with soda or juice.
Mix it in water or juice and then drink it because it makes it easier to swallow.
Right.
So I think that's how I think about it. When it's like somebody, and it's people that we know, and this is a huge difference in this, right? The cynic that I am, right, and as we all know, I'm super cynical, especially when people start telling me like, "Oh, well, God told me." But because of knowing their character and who they are,
right.
when they said, listen, this is the direction we feel God is leading us in. This is the direction that we want to go in, and I took it as, all right, cool, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, it was like, okay, because I know this is not something that you guys are just kind of throwing out there because you just want to dip.
Yeah, you just want to bounce.
And unlike another experience we had where we didn't hear from somebody, and then only after we hunted them down, it was like, oh well, God was kind of like, oh,
I know you heard was ha ha ha.
I'm sorry, God kind of wants us here, and it was just like, that's dude. If that's where God wants you, we don't want you to not be where God wants you, but you got to communicate that.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? You got to communicate that. So
God told him to be here too. But anyway, right? So
now you're just being a jerk.
No, I'm saying that's the perfect
difference,
example to use as a difference.
So the difference is that so they communicated that, and so we told them, hey, look, You know, we love you guys. You guys are still part of the fam. And I was just thinking about this now, you know. Honestly, I'm thinking that if it hadn't been for us, they would not have got out of their last situation to be able to step into this new situation.
Right, to be bold enough to do that.
You know, because I think
they said that.
No, they said that they had to leave the previous situation. They had to leave the previous church anyway. They had to make that move. But I think I like to think anyway that, you know, we gave them that opportunity to step out of that, as hard as it was. But they were able to step out of it with people that had their back.
Right.
Instead of trying to step out of it without that support.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then they knew as much as it was hurting them to tell us what they told us, but they knew we were going to have their back, and we weren't going to you know, throw anything in their face or try to be like, well, you know,
hurt and take
you
it
know, hey
personally.
man, we did this for you, and I can't believe it.
Yeah, no,
So,
not at all.
You know,
You know,
so they're stepping out.
They're stepping out. They're gonna step into what they feel that the Lord is leading them to, which
It makes perfect sense to me when she was telling me
makes
what
perfect sense because of who they are, right?
Yeah.
And how they are and how connected they are, right? And I'm not gonna lie. You know, it was painful because of community, because of relationship, right? Like you said, we knew them, but we also we were close, right? We were close. Our families are close. We're close, but it's also exciting to see them take that bold step of faith into the unknown, right? And just run with it.
Right, that they've needed to take.
Right. So, but regardless, it that has like I was telling people at the retreat, that has taken us to our, what is that I said, 1.5? Right. Legacy 1.5.
Actually, I kind of feel like it's legacy 0.05 or just legacy 0.5. Like
1.5,
you know,
because we did it. We started.
We stepped out,
and now,
right?
And then again, you know, it's like how all things work together for the good of those who love God, right? Because, even before last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago that I told you last week, but like 2 weeks ago, like I felt that the Lord was leading me and was well, I didn't feel, I was convicted yet again,
right?
Convicted yet again that I did not pursue this the way it was originally set before
mapped
me,
out, right?
And mapped out by God, right, by the Holy Spirit when He first did it. The first time was at the cruise. I told you everybody's rocking out to Toby Mac, and I'm on the floor bawling with my mocos out because I'm getting I'm getting shaken up. And then again 2 weeks ago, and then and it's almost like that had to happen for them, right? So that they can be bold enough to step out in faith, but also had to happen for us because last week we were talking about how we have to, like I told you, the Lord is leading me to, as far as legacy is concerned, to take a step back so we can move forward. Right. And we talked all that, and them stepping away and doing their thing has given us the freedom.
Yes.
To
it
actually
freed us up. Right. So to kind of break that open a little bit. So basically when Jay had first stepped up and said, I feel God's calling me to start a church and this, that, or the other, and I always tell this to Jay, he gets mad at me, but I always tell him, this is, that's Jay's dream. That's the dream, God has put in Jay's heart, right? It's to pursue this church thing. And, that's not my dream, but I'm the dude that, if that's your dream, I'm going to try to help you out as much as I can.
Like he's the fixer.
Right. I'm just going to try to help you out. It's not my dream. Like the reality is if we, the church gets established and it grows to 30, 40 people and I can bounce out, and that's what I feel I need to do, I'll bounce out because it's not my dream. I did what I was supposed to do, which was to help Jay get to where it is that God wants him to be. That's just who I am. I'm that friend. Right. And so when we had, I said, all right, man, I'll help you out. So we sat down and as we started kind of, talking and kind of figuring things out, the original plan had been for us to do this thing called Legacy Nights, which we had talked about way back earlier in our podcasting season here. And so the idea was to do a once a month event where we'd have worship, a word, then maybe a concert to kind of end it, to kind of bookend it with the worship. So you start with celebrating God, get some word, then you end with just celebrating life, celebrating who we are, and Jesus with just some hip hop or some pop or some rock or whatever. And then from that, the dream was that as hopefully as this thing grew and as people come to know the Lord, we'd be able then to plug them into a legacy Bible study, and then grow the church out of that, instead of trying to, so just doing it a different way, just doing it a way that, in a way, and part of it is just doing it in a way that we're familiar with, and part of it was just, trying to just do it a little differently. That was it. And so within that, as we were doing that, we had somebody who we both love told us, well, what's stopping you from just starting the church? And so so Jay told me that. And so I sat on that for about a week, I think, as I just thought about it and chewed on it. So one day I called Jay. I'm like, hey man, give me a call. So he calls me and I had written some things down and I said, well, why don't we just do it? And, Jay was like, oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing. Now, what's funny is that amongst our friends, I'm the no guy, right? If Jay has an idea, he's like, oh, I want to do this. I'm like, yeah, but, right?
And if it makes sense, I could see.
Yeah, but how does this really going to work? For our friend Juice, I'm like, yeah, but, so I'm the no guy, right? Which is why sometimes they don't tell me things, because they don't want to hear a no. I've gotten a little better I've gotten a lot better, I think.
A lot better.
But I was talking to Angel about this, right? Because I told him what happened. And I was like, this is when I should have said no, but I didn't. Because I was trying to be supportive, right? I was trying to be like an encourager, right?
You told me that.
So, but I should have been the no guy. But I was like, Jay was like, oh my gosh, let's do it. So we moved forward to start meeting as a small little home group. And then the person that told us that we should go ahead and start doing it, that asked Jay, hey, how come you don't just go ahead and start the church? About a week later goes, well, we can't join you. We got other things we got to do. And at the time, it was like, okay, I understand, but part of it was like, thanks. Like you kind of left us hanging, because you're the one that was encouraging us to step forward, and part of my thinking of going, yeah, let's do it, was because I thought they were going to be there. Well, they ended up not, which is fine. So we pushed, and now we're at where we're at. So I was thinking, and I told this to Jay yesterday. I think it was last week. I told him this. I was like, I think part of the problem is that we jumped the gun. I think we got a little excited, and we pushed when we should have just chilled and stayed the course. So I think, so the idea of doing Legacy Nights, we had put it on the back burner, because now we had put ourselves in a position where it didn't make sense to try to do that. So with our friends kind of stepping out and saying, look, we're gonna step down and we're gonna be pursuing this calling that God has for us. Like Jay just said, it does open us up to bring back the idea of Legacy Nights. To take it out of the cupboard, dust it off, and kind of begin marching forward with it. So Jay, what's Legacy Nights again? Because it's trying to change from the original vision, didn't it? A little bit?
Just a little bit.
The mission statement's the same.
Everything in the back of the house stays the same, except that we're not gonna do, well, not that we're not gonna do at all,
right?
But we're gonna keep it worship focused, right. So it'll be worship, word, worship, and ministry, rather than we're going to do a little worship, word, and then like a rock band's going to come out and like rock us out to celebrate Jesus, or we're going to have this hip hop artist. Now, that's not to say that we're never going to have.
Right. We are going to have those things, but
Those
it's
things.
but it's going to be a so that's
It's going to be sporadic.
sporadic.
Like, spread out.
So let's say like 4 times a year instead of every month,
Right.
kind of thing.
Every
So,
month, we're going to have
worship and word.
a Legacy Nights band,
Right.
right? Like a house band, leading us into worship, just vertical worship. So, a place where you can come. Doesn't matter where you go to church.
Right.
Doesn't matter where you serve, where you worship, whatever.
Or don't.
Or if you don't, right? I mean, no, it doesn't matter because
Right.
you're probably bedside Baptist, right? But whatever
Great
it
congregation.
is, you can come to these worship gatherings and just, unite with your fellow kingdom family and just sing and worship God and, fall on your face and give God thanks, and there'll be a word of encouragement or a word of conviction. Who knows? Whatever God gives.
Right.
And then we all reconcile together, right? And worship God to the end. And if there's, prayer, there's ministry, if there's healing, whatever's going to take place, whatever the Holy Spirit's going to do,
Yeah, whatever
the
that
Holy
ends up
Spirit's
looking
going to
like.
do, right? And then maybe like 2 or 3 months down the road, we'll invite like an Uzuhan or a Sam Ak, who've been on the show, or maybe the opening worship will be with like DJ 412. Like I'm mentioning people who have been on the show specifically, right? But the focus, like Legacy Nights, would be more like Legacy Worship Nights, but everything else, the mission to spread the gospel and to
Right. It all
keep kingdom.
Yeah. So the
It all
idea,
stays the
yeah,
same.
and or even have if we're fortunate enough to have a guest worship person come in and do that, it's going to be very fluid in that sense. Obviously if if Newsboys contacts us and they're like, hey, we heard you guys do this thing, would it be cool if we came and did worship? We're not going to tell them no. You guys come, do your show, do whatever you want. That only helps us. But yeah, so we're stepping back to the original vision, to the original idea. And what's great about this, what's great about how I kind of unfolded is, and I don't know about you, but I don't feel like we failed.
Not at all.
Right. Because that's always been, I know your fear, right, has always been, or one of your fears has been, oh, what if this doesn't, happen? What if this doesn't work out? But it happened in such a way, I guess God was already preparing you for what was going to happen last Sunday, so that you didn't have that feeling of failure
Or discouragement.
or discouragement, and you could rotate back to the original plans, as it were, the original vision, to be able to continue moving forward in this journey. So that was cool, I guess. Right? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. That's exactly what it was. I was, we were prepared, right? That's why, like, when we heard the news, it was like, well, we knew this was going to happen. We knew this was coming, and not like, we knew that you were going to do what you did. It was more of a, like, we knew this was happening. The Lord prepared us,
Right.
and and it was cool. And like I said, earlier, this, and you just repeated, this allows us, it gives us the freedom to take a step backwards to move forward, right? And then the words, again, the words of Banning ring in my head again, almost like an I told you so this time, where it was, be obedient to the call and God will do the rest. Right. So, and not doing things the way it was mapped out from the jump, right? It could be why like a lot of things did not fall into place
Right.
the way we thought they were.
Right.
They would.
We
right?
yeah, we could say we added extra prep because then all of a sudden we were like, it was like, I mean, you more than me, which is kind of hilarious. Where you were like, covering, who we gonna connect with. That became a burden.
Yes.
Trying to figure out who we're gonna connect with. That just became a burden, and it wasn't something that was, like, oh, easy peasy. It was just like, oh my gosh, these people aren't answering, or those people aren't answering, or this is happening, this isn't happening. So, by kind of swerving and getting a little ahead of ourselves, we added just extra pressure on ourselves. So now we're gonna be able to really move forward. So what we got next, man? So what's our next step then? So what are we gonna be doing? How are we gonna handle?
So this is what we've been doing. This is what we're talking about. As you guys know, we have conversations, arguments, and rundowns before we start each episode. And this one was about finding a location, right? So we're gonna be looking this weekend. Actually,
this one was me being a little more me and going,
Right.
no, bring it back.
Right. Because I already put the word out of for musicians and whatever, and I've gotten some hits, and I've also reached out, and it's also like I told you last week, people that I hadn't talked to in a long time,
Right.
and haven't seen any of the imagery that I put out looking for musicians have like out of nowhere hit me up. Hey, what's up? What's going on? So that's a God thing. But before we form all that, because it's almost like we are gonna have to form a band for Legacy Nights, right? We're gonna have to put musicians and singers and people together,
Right.
rather than getting an outside band. Now,
Right.
When we get the outside band, it'll be something like
I mean, I honestly, or get an outside, or if we can find a dope group already put together that's like, yeah, we'll come once a month. Then yeah, you're in like Flynn.
so bread and wine. If you're listening, hit us up. Anyway, so we're gonna look for a location, but the need is to have a set location.
Correct.
Where every month it's the same place
Spot.
and it's known. The second Friday of every month, we're all going to go to this place
Right.
because Legacy Nights is going to be taking place there. Rather than, well, pay attention to your email or your text messages so you know the secret location. It's not going to be like a
Yeah,
pop-up worship
we're not
show.
doing a tour, right.
We're not doing that. We're going to look for a set place. So we've been discussing a few options, and we're going to look into those options this weekend so that we can more or less have
An idea.
an idea
Right.
and options to choose from. All right, you know what? This fits our need. Let's go here.
Right. Now, if it's free, that fits our need.
100%.
100%. But yeah, no, even things like, because the thing is, one of the things we're looking at, we don't know what to call them. We call them the Mexican banquet halls because that's how we know them.
That's how we know them.
And that's basically, it's like these places, they're usually all right next to a Mexican restaurant that are run by a Mexican group or a Mexican person. And they have like these, storefronts or whatever where they just do like parties and quinceañeras and all that stuff. So we're going to be looking at those because, and then we got, a couple of churches that we're going to kind of mosey on up to and just kind of present ourselves. And I just trust that God's going to kind of lead us in the right direction on that. God's going to open the right door, whether it's a door that we got to figure out, we got to save up, how much money we're going to need every month to rent the spot, or if it's the guy that's like, hey, yeah, you got a spot here, and then we have to be obedient to it and not worry about, because one of the things we worry about sometimes is is visibility. We get caught up in, it's not necessarily easy to get there, and we gotta kind of get that out of our heads, because I wonder, sometimes that's what hinders us, right? We think we know what we need, and which causes us to overlook the actual thing we might actually need. Because we're looking kind of for the better, right? We're looking for this is the best location. This is the best place. This will be the best place. But the place that maybe is a little harder to get to is probably might actually be the best place. So we gotta be open to those kind of things.
Right. That's like when that reminds you of when Perry Noble talks about when he established New Spring, how the Lord led him to like some cornfield in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina, right? A while ago, like years ago. And it was first like a little building, little gathering, and now it's like this giant campus still in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Right. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think it's me more than you because, all the events and all the stuff that I do, like ease of, you got to find a place that's easy to get to.
Right.
Rather than, hey, we drove around and we couldn't find anything. That's like that was one of the complications with like VCC, that it was like really, it wasn't like in an open area or like a giant sign where you could like see it from the street and stuff. So, but you're absolutely right. Whatever God provides, right? Whatever God provides is the spot because God provided it. So again, be obedient to the call,
right,
and let God do the rest. All right, Lord, this is it, Lord.
Right, because we always like to say, well, the Holy Spirit, we'll let the Holy Spirit work, but He's only going to work if we're on that main street where everybody can see us. That's kind of how we, that's kind of how we act. We don't, we forget that a lot of times it's just about putting in the work where you're at, and just believing that God's going to do what He's going to do. And if it grows to 1,000 people, if it grows to just 15, 20 people, but if people are connecting to God and people are growing in faith and we're growing in faith and we're connecting with God, then I think that's the win, right? Ultimately, that's the win. Not because you get 500 people, but because you get 30 people that are completely sold out, hungry, and in love with God. And that's kind of the thing that we want to remember, and we don't want to fall into. It reminds me of the story of this little church I had read about in Alabama. I think I sent you that story. Like this little church is out in the middle of nowhere. And once again, the same thing, man. They're preaching the word, they're praying, and the place is growing. People are driving from all over the place to go to this place, to go to this church, to hear from God and to hear God. And so that's ultimately what we want to do with Legacy Nights, Legacy Worship Nights, is we want it to be a place where, regardless of where it is, I know one of the places that me and Jay had talked about earlier, we'd visited there before, and we were like, man, it's kind of hidden back here. But it's like, you know what? Fine. If it's hidden, if that place opens up and it's hidden, great. I guess that means that those that find it will treasure it more.
If you build it, they will come.
It's already built. I don't know what we're gonna build. So yeah, man. So that's what we got going on. Legacy Church it's funny. Legacy Nights was put on pause. So now, and Legacy Church was kind of launched. Now we're kind of flipping it a little bit. We're pausing Legacy Church for a little bit, so we can grow Legacy Nights, so that we can then build into Legacy Church, as we had originally planned. So
praise God for His sense of humor, and for His patience.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
And for not being like, told you so.
But
right, so with,
part of the process.
Yeah, it's all a part of the process. So with all that said, right, that's why I wanted to share the verse, because it's this.
Yeah, so you went to this church planners retreat.
Right. I'm gonna get to that. But I wanted to see like how the verse matches this, because it's very easy to, like, when things start falling apart or they don't go your way, to give up, right? To take it as a negative, right? It's like, oh no, or like how some people, and we it's a long time since we've talked about this, but how some people feel that if things go hard in ministry or in the things that you're pursuing God for, then it must not be God, or it must not be God's will, or God must not be with you, or want you to do that. So, you quit or you give up, right? But I love how this verse speaks to that, because it's like, don't be afraid. Go on. Keep speaking. Don't be silent. Keep doing it. I'm with you. No one's going to attack you or harm you, because I got people in the city like for you that'll back you up. So my fears are that that we do this, and 2, 3, 4 months, and it's just us, right? The worship band and you, Magda, Junie, and I, right? Well, without Junie, because like as soon as the restaurant opens, he'll be working again, right? But and no one will show up, right? But that's my fear, right? That's something that I've got to like give to God every day, because He says, "Don't worry about it," right? I got people in your city, in this city, where I'm going to establish you, or establish Legacy Nights. I got people. So don't be afraid. Keep speaking, keep looking, keep working, keep doing. Don't be silent. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't quit, because I got people in this city. Right. So it's dope. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for the red letters.
Yeah. So it's about moving forward. And that's why, like this, I think Saturday we're gonna go out for a little bit, do a little scouting, and that's the thing. I think that a lot of times something like this happens, or anything happens, you're trying to pursue, and you're like, oh, I got to sit down and listen. I got to stop. And I think sometimes that's the right thing to do, but I think I would push to say that that's actually the wrong thing to do.
Right.
You need to listen. Yes, you need to sit and listen, but that doesn't mean you stop moving. So if God's placed something in your heart, you pursue that. Now, if things aren't happening the way you think, yeah, it's okay to take a step back and maybe say, okay, I need to maybe shift a little here. Lord, do I need to move this way? God, do I need to come this way? But you keep moving forward, right? Because the easy thing to do is, these friends leave to go pursue what God's placed in their heart. And then Jay goes, well, you know what? I'm just not gonna do this for a while. I'm done for a while. This is not what God's not in this, because it's just been way too hard. So I'm just gonna stop, and we'll just go find a church and just go be part of a church for a while, because that seems to be the way it has to be done, because that's how everybody tells me, whatever. That's
and in turn be in complete disobedience.
Right. That means that's giving up. Right. So where you just kind of stop. And that's
collaborate and listen.
And that's not what we want to do. And that's not what we encourage you not to do. That anybody that might be hearing this, listen, God's called you to something. Pursue that. If He doesn't want you to do it, He'll let you know. Pursue what you feel He's called you to do. But if it's not working out, it doesn't mean He doesn't want you to do it. It means that, yeah, you need to take time to listen. You need to take time. There are times when you need to step back. Like Jay, I made him go to this retreat. I pushed him to go to this retreat. Our buddy Juice pushed him to go to this retreat because he needed this retreat.
Magda pushed me to go.
Magda pushed him to go because he needed after what happened, he needed to step back, stop, so that then we could keep moving.
Yeah, sometimes it's not, pursue the passion that you feel that God has placed in your heart. Pursue your God dream. And if it's not working out, if you're hitting a couple walls, then it's not for you to stop. It's for you to maybe pivot. Right. And go in another direction, because if you're hitting those walls, maybe you got to turn to the right, because there's no wall there.
Right.
But like talking about this church planners retreat. So we met we met this Pastor Sam guy, Sam Kang. He's a pastor out of one of the pastors out of Renovation Church, and right, and it just so happens that he is part of this church planting organization. Organization, sure. Let's use the word organization. And so we told him about legacy and little things that were happening, and he invited us. And yeah, Joaquin pushed me, Juice pushed me. That morning, Magda again, my wife, Magdalena, pushed me. And right, so whatever, I went. And it was encouraging to me because there were 20 of us, right? And we were all church planters. Some of the planters were already like serving in their church or serving on their church, but the majority of them were serving at a church in Gwinnett County. That from there they get training and they learn. It's almost like an internship, and then they move on, right?
You get pushed out, yeah.
Right, but like we had some vets, right? The founders of that organization were there. They were vets, like the guy that I told you that personally poured into me Tuesday before we left, right? And but like the encouraging thing was that there were everyone that was there in different levels of their church plant, right? And when we had like a little powwow time, we did some worship, and then Sam asked for people to share their story, their church planting story, right? And when I shared mine with my frustrations and my dude, like everybody laughed at me, and not because they were making fun of me, but they were like, oh yeah, you sound like us, you sound like a church planter, right? And they were like, oh, Bob over there, he's on his third attempt,
right?
Like, this is your first time, right? He's on his third attempt on trying to like launch this church and plant this church in the same location,
right?
Like, oh dang, yeah, you're worse than me. All right, high five, right? It was they were all very encouraging, all very loving, right? And it was almost like the refresher I needed, like almost like a swapping out of batteries, almost, right? That I needed. We all prayed for each other, encouraged each other, and pushed each other on. And I know, right? I know that, like, I'll never forget those 20 people that were there, right? Even if I don't ever see them again,
right?
Which I'm gonna make sure that I do, but I will never forget those 20 people there because, since I've been back praying for them and praying for their church plant and praying for personal things that each one is going through, right? That makes planting a church even more difficult.
Right.
Right. But thanks for the push and thank you, Sam, for the invite. But yeah, I mean, I left encouraged, I left re-energized, and now I'm like, all right, since we're going back to Legacy Nights, let's get this moving, let's get this started.
Right.
By November, boom,
Whatever.
let's get this done.
Right. Yeah. And what's funny is that
let's get it.
Yeah. What's funny is I was telling Jay, I was like, when I say I'm the no guy, right? So I'm stepping back into that role. I gotta rein Jay in a little bit because he's so hyped about. He's already telling me about like, oh, I got this guy for like the band, and I'm like, whoa, where we gonna beat? And he's like, well, we're looking for. I said, all right, let's time out. Let's. So that's the steps. We're looking for a spot so that we can set a launch date, so that we can put together the team, so that we can.
So they can rehearse for that launch date.
So that we can go ahead and move in that direction. So, that's it. A lot of stuff. Thanks for joining us. If you listened all the way through, thank you. If not, then you're not going to hear this, and you're a jerk.
But we love you anyway.
And yeah, just to leave with this is, look, God's put something in your heart. Follow it. But if it's difficult, don't give up.
Right.
Recalibrate.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna interject a little. And even if it's difficult, through it all, don't stop praying for it. right? Don't stop praying for it, because the enemy's real, and the main focus that the enemy has against the people of the people of God is that we not accomplish the mission that God has sent us out to do, right? He's the wall, he's the deterrent, right? And the minute that we give up, right, because it got too hard or we became discouraged and we fell for it, then he wins. And whatever people were in line to receive the message of God from you will now have to shift to another direction to receive it somewhere else, because they're going to receive the message of salvation,
right,
one way or another, right? But whatever it is that you had to do because you listened to the wrong voice, right, then things will change drastically forever for you. And you don't want to stand before God and him ask you about your talents and you tell him that you buried them because things look hard.
No, so that's it.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. So that's what we're gonna do. Listen, I'm gonna leave you with this quote from one of my favorite movies, Heartbreak Ridge. Gunnery Sergeant Highway. Listen, when things get tough, adapt, improvise, and overcome. Till next week, I'm Joaquin.
I'm still Jay, still here.
And you know who we are.
Thanks for listening. Remember to head on over to thisisoutcry.com for more content. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, or Stitcher.